Hi, Stamping Friends, it's Sherry Parker coming to you live on Wednesday, April 15th. It's tax day. Hope you got your taxes in and all good things there. So always a fun time of year. Not. Thank you for joining me tonight. I've got a really pretty card to share with you this evening and a couple of quick things. Great news, Stampin' Up! Is having a double point for rewards now through Friday. So if you go to my website at sherrythomas.stampinup.net, just know that any order you place, you're going to get double the rewards that you can use towards future orders. So it's a great time to bank up those rewards, spend them later, and especially when the new catalog comes out, that'd be a really good time to spend your reward points. I want to mention that, and then also I'm having a new catalog open house on May 7th. It's a Thursday. It's open house style, starting at 6:30, ending around 9, and you'll have an opportunity to make some projects, to get a new catalog, see a lot of the new products, and have fun. So there'll be prizes and everything. I hope you can attend. Just let me know if you're coming. No cost, just need to have a pretty good idea of how many people to expect. And then last, I am offering an in-color club, and I've posted details about that and happy to answer any questions. But if you like all the new in colors and you want it all, it's a great way to get it all. Make some projects for free in the process. You don't necessarily have to come in person. If you're interested in doing this remotely, let me know, because you can do it remotely as well. All right, we're gonna get started. Thank you for everyone who's hopped on, and we'll start our card. All right, we are getting towards the new catalog. So before we premiere that in a few weeks, I wanted to use some products that are in our current mini catalog. So this might look familiar to you. You probably have one. Tonight we're going to use some of the lovely and beautiful sweet components. We're going to use the Designer Series paper and then one of the bundles. So that's on pages 24 and 25 of the current mini catalog. The last couple weeks I've shown you some new things that aren't available yet as a sneak peek, but tonight we're using all of this is currently available. We'll be using the Banner Sayings. It comes with a punch and a stamp set. I've used this quite a bit. It's wonderful, very versatile. We'll also be using the Beautifully Celebrated bundle. Showed you that in the catalog there, dies and stamps. And then last, the Gallery Blooms bundle. So this particular bundle is on the last chance list. So if you like it, this would be the time to go ahead and order it, because once it's gone, it'll be gone forever. All right, tonight we are going to be making this fun fold card here. I've got it in two different color combinations, but you'll see that it really is a fun way to use your Designer Series paper, because you open it up and then you open it up again. So a little bit of a surprise, fun fold, and a really nice versatile card. I think it'd be nice for Mother's Day, for birthday, really for anything. Here it is in the Fresh Freesia. Here it is in the Cameo Coral. So tonight we're going to be using the Freesia, but just to change up the colors and the which Designer Series paper you use, you get a different look. All right, we'll get started, and what you'll need is basically a half sheet of Designer Series paper. So on the long side, this is 12 inches, and then this you'll cut down to 5 1/4. So it's not quite half a sheet of 12 by 12, but pretty close. And then we are going to score, and you're going to just score it twice. You'll score at 4 inches. I've got so much stuff on my table, kind of running into everything. So 4 inches and then 8 inches. So basically in thirds. Okay, and you'll see how it is going to fold. But then one extra little thing we're going to do is on this piece that folds in, we're going to just trim a little bit off that edge so that it doesn't kind of crumble in, if you know what I mean. It'll just give it a nice clearance from the other fold. So I think that you don't have to do that, but that way you're not having it bunch up. So there's the card base. We will adhere that to a 1/4 sheet of the Fresh Freesia. This measures 5 1/2 by 4 1/4. We'll put our card on the front like that, and there's how it will open. Okay, and then before we do the front, we'll go ahead and do the inside. So this little piece here measures about 2.5 by 3.5. You can make it any size, and I'm layering it. So that's where you can write your message to your recipient. So, hi Lisa, hi Naomi, hi everybody, Debbie. Thanks for joining tonight. So I've layered that on a piece of fresh freesia. So you can see there, you know, and again, any color combination you want to do will work. So that is the inside. We'll go ahead and kind of set that off to the side here, and then we'll focus on the front. So we're going to use our blends, and you've probably seen these or have these. They're a wonderful way to add some a nice technique to your cards. So what we'll do first is from that Gallery Blooms, the bouquet, I'm going to stamp that using basic gray. So this is just, it's not quite as dark as black, and it'll give it a nice contrast. So we stamp that onto a white piece of cardstock, and then you can really color it in however you want. One of the things when I was at Onstage that they were really focusing on were different coloring techniques, and one of the things they highlighted was the color lifter, and this is one of the blends that we sell. There's a brush end and a point end, just like our other blends. And essentially, if you think about it, it takes color away. And there's a couple different ways you can use it. You can actually put it down first. So, you know, you could, if you wanted to, maybe just put some little highlights on I put some highlights on the petal. And then I could go in with my blend and go over top of it. And then it takes a little bit of time to do its magic, but it'll start to lighten that area. We may not have enough time to show you that in total here, but just to kind of give you a sense, you can do it two ways, where you put the color lifter down first, and then on the next flower I'll show you, we'll do it second. And then, you know, with our blends, I like to go light to dark, and then you can add, so I'm using Petunia Pop here, the dark and the light, just add a little dimension, and you can keep adding colors and blending, just like that. And then I was going to show you the other way that you can use this. So, for example, if you wanted to color this flower here pink, I'm going to go with a light pretty and pink first, and then we'll add maybe some of this coral color here, just to give it a little bit of depth. And then last, I'll add the dark coral. And then what we'll do is we'll add the color lifter at the end, and you'll see how that works too. So I don't know if you can see it. It's probably hard to see on the screen here, but it is starting to take some of the color out. But again, it takes a little bit of time, and you almost have to just let it sit for a little while, and you'll start to see some of the techniques. It's really kind of a cool way. So I would go ahead, I would color this in. I don't want to bore you, but so you'll color it in, and then I'm going to take my die, the coordinating die, and run this through my die cut machine, and through the magic of TV, there it is. And so I've colored it in same colors that I just showed you here, and this will be the focal point of our card. So it's nice to see how different sweets and stamps can mix and match. So these don't necessarily belong together, but you can make them match just by the colors that you select. So I did go ahead and I cut out one of the scallops in vellum, and I'm going to layer that onto the scallop. So I'm going to put just a teeny little bit of adhesive on the vellum. It won't show through. And then right over top, I'll put our flower using dimensionals. Hi, Leanne. Wow, you got that package fast. I just mailed that. That's crazy. All right. And there you go. And then if you wanted, you could add a little bow. I did create a bow using our new Barely Blush. This is one of our new in colors. It's not available just yet, but it's a very light pink. It looks pretty with this paper. So since I had it out, I just thought I would use it. I like to use ribbon and what I have, because I don't think, even though this particular color isn't necessarily printed on this paper. I think it all coordinates nicely. And then for the inside, I also cut out some scallops, so a white one and then a layered one of that designer series paper. They come in all the different nesting sizes. I stamped another flower from that set, colored it in with the blends, and I will layer that together. And then for this one, it's going to be like a little surprise that you'll just put it right inside. So your recipient may not expect that when they open their card, and they get an extra little bonus there, and then you can write your message on the inside. So for the outside, you could leave it plain, of course, or if you wanted to stamp a greeting from that banners, the banner sayings set, I picked out the Here's to You. And I like that greeting because it really is versatile. You could use it for anything. I think this would be a really pretty Mother's Day card. So pick the banner that you like, and you can just position it there if you want. But again, you don't necessarily need a greeting because I think it's pretty even by itself. So I am almost done with this card, believe it or not. One thing I wanted to add is Wink of Stella, of course. That is my favorite. I always like to add just a little shimmer to the focal point. So, oopsie, a little heavy-handed there, so I'm just going to dab it up. Have you ever done that before? I do it with glue, seems like frequently, but I squeeze a little too hard on. There you go, all good. So there you go, what do you think? Do you like that? I think it's just a really pretty fun fold and great use of your designer series paper because you're using essentially half a sheet and getting a lot of mileage out of that. So there is our card for tonight. And I am gonna draw for last week's cards. But before I do that, I did wanna show you, I had a birthday this week and I just can't even tell you, I've received so many pretty cards in the mail and I posted some of them, but I just had to show you how gorgeous these cards are. So this one was from Anne Hayward. This is from Rose, Alexa, Tammy Fight. This is a fun fold. That's the same flower we used tonight. This is from Don Gutierrez, from Nan. Love that. This is from Cheryl Norton. Super cute. Kevin Thiessen. Donna Marshall. Thank you. Sandy Benson. This is from Ruth Zinzer. Susie Brunk. And Mary Mabe. So thank you so much. What a great mail week. I have to tell you, it was like, felt like I was getting presents in the mail. It's like getting a gift in the mail with a card. All right, so now on to last week's card winners. Remember, if you comment on or share each week, your name is automatically entered in to win the cards that I made. Last week we made 3 very simple cards, so we will be giving those away. And this first one, the first winner is, whoops, I drew 2. Karen Beck. And then this one, since I drew 2, well, Dawn Michaels. And then for this last one here is Laura Myers. That's Lindsay's soon-to-be mother-in-law. Wow. So, all right. So you are the winners tonight. Thank you so much. I will mail those to you this week. And I sure appreciate you watching. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your tax day. And I think I'll be here next week. I don't know. I'm heading to Florida, so I might not be on. Just kind of depends how things fall next week, but I will let you know. So have a wonderful rest of your week. Take care, and thank you so much again. Good night.